In 1985, Echo and the Bunnymen released one of my favorite albums, Songs to Learn and Sing. I loved the music, but I also liked the title of the album, and so this little video is called Phrases to Learn and Use. In this video, we're going to introduce you to a handful of phrases and questions you might want to use when you're facilitating an ITK session. If you think it, ink it. This is a great way to encourage participation by asking people to capture their own ideas in their own words. It makes each person's contribution visible to the rest of the group, and it gives the facilitator something to point to if there's a lull in the conversation. This also contributes to the canvas or the artifact the group is creating. But most importantly, it helps people focus and clarify their thinking by putting their ideas in writing. Sometimes I'm not sure what to say or how to respond to someone's comment. Maybe I didn't quite follow what they said, or their idea was incomplete or confusing. Or sometimes the rest of the group responds with silence when someone says something. In all those situations, I like to say, "Can you say more about that?" This can be a really encouraging response, and it helps keep the conversation moving. It's also a great way to draw attention to a really good idea that the rest of the group might have overlooked. I think what I'm hearing is mirroring and summarizing the group's comments is a really powerful way for a facilitator to move the group towards clarity and consensus. So here's the good news. Even if my summary is wrong, that's still a useful input because it creates an opportunity for the rest of the group to clarify and correct their previous statements. It gives the group something specific to respond to. I love this question. Who have we not heard from? I ask it in pretty much every session I facilitate. Rather than calling out anyone by name or putting anyone on the spot, this phrase, it creates space for quieter participants to join in the conversation and share their ideas. It also provides a very gentle signal to the dominant voices and the oversharers to step back for a moment and make room for the rest of the people. Great idea. Can you write that down in your own words so we don't lose it? Asking someone to write down their idea is a terrific way to manage a dominant voice. It simultaneously expresses appreciation for their inputs, it empowers them to keep contributing, and it shuts them up for a minute because they can't talk and write at the same time. This creates space for others in the group to contribute, and it does so in a really positive way. All right, there's a 0% chance we got this 100% right on the first try. This phrase encourages participants to experiment and to try things. It gives everyone permission to get it a little wrong at first, and wow, that can be really freeing. This phrase is particularly helpful for making perfectionists feel a little more comfortable taking that first step, because it points out two really important things. First, getting it perfect from the start is not an option. And second, we'll get more than one try. This is the beginning of a conversation, not the end of one. This phrase helps set expectations for the session's outcomes. It encourages participants to keep doing the work after the session is over. So I like to say this at the kickoff to sort of set the stage. And then I say it again at the end as a reminder and a send-off. It's an invitation to keep going. Yes, and there's a whole 4-week training series on this topic, but the short version is that this improv technique can go a long way towards building a positive, creative environment for your session. Now, you don't need to feel limited to those specific words, yes, and. There are lots of ways to affirm and build on someone else's comment. One tip, saying yes doesn't necessarily mean you're agreeing with someone. You're simply acknowledging their contribution and affirming their participation, then adding to it. This is a great phrase to teach the rest of the group and invite them to use it too. And finally, when we're talking about simplifying something, I like to talk about distilling rather than boiling. The difference is that distillation tends to concentrate and purify a substance, while boiling can kind of strip the flavor out of something. I just think distillation is a more apt metaphor. So I will invite the group to distill our ideas down to its essentials rather than boil it down. All right, I hope that's a helpful rundown of some phrases you might want to use as you facilitate ITK sessions. Good luck taking these phrases to learn and use.